Hi guys, Rob Griffin here. I want to give you a brief tutorial on the studio and how it should be set up every time you arrive. More importantly, every time you leave. So come with me. This is our studio. You can see we have headphones like this, microphones placed like that, and cameras are in a particular place. We do that for a reason so that when the show comes in after you, they have the exact same setup that you had when you arrived. So we just want to make sure it's fair for everybody. So come with me. Now you'll notice as I sit down in the chair, I have my headphones that are typically hung like this, okay? And then I have my mic here is on a boom. And the reason why I want to point this piece out is because what a lot of people do when they don't understand audio equipment, they will move the mic by grabbing the microphone itself, which is a problem. So you see around this microphone, there are these little bands, right? These little rubber bands are there for a reason. Those bands are there so it will eliminate vibration and give you better sound quality. What happens when people who don't understand audio equipment and they move the mic pulling on this, these bands will pop off and it will damage the sound and ultimately damage the equipment. Not only that, this wire down here is very fragile. If you move this microphone too much, you could cause a short in these wires and they're not cheap. So please be careful. So if you're going to move the microphone, grab the ring around the mic, or more importantly, probably just grab the boom while holding the base, and then you can move the mic anywhere you want to go. Once it's set into place, meaning your face is right in front of this thing, we call it a pop filter. Pop filter will block out all those things like puh, puh, when you say the word pea or potato or something like that. That's what that's for. So, and it's also is a really good training tool for you about where you want to be in front of the microphone. Okay? So that would be our basics for now about the microphone and the headphone setup. So when you're leaving, please just put the equipment back in the exact same way that you found it. Now, let's talk briefly about the mixer, okay? On the mixer, you will see there's a bunch of knobs and a bunch of buttons and these little slidey things, okay? Depending on how many people are going to be on your show that day, you only have to unmute the microphones that you're going to be using. Okay guys, now we're going to talk about the mixer. This is very important. So the first question you should be asking yourself every time you come in is how many guests am I going to have on the show and who's going to be in front of a microphone speaking. So if you look at the mixer right here, you will see there's a bunch of knobs, a bunch of slidey things, a bunch of buttons. The only things that you should ever be touching are these little slides up and down. These adjust the volumes for your microphones. By the way, mic 1, mic 2, mic 3, and mic 4. And you might be asking, well, which one is mic 1? Mic 1 is this one right here, where I'm sitting in the driver's seat over here, and then they go in clockwise. This is 1, that's number 2, 3, and then 4 over there in the corner, okay? In the audio world, yellow, the color yellow means mute. So you see these little lights right here? These lights are all yellow. That means they've been muted out. How do we unmute a mic? We push that button, push that button, push that button, push that button. I have now officially unmuted all 4 microphones, but we don't want to turn on all 4 unless we have 4 guests that are going to be here. Most people's voice will work really good right here around the 15 mark. Do you see that on the little slider right there where it says 15? So I'm going to go up about yay high. So now I've turned on mic 1, turned on mic 2, and let's just say I don't have a guest for mic 3, but I did have a guest for mic 4. It would look something like this. Those mics are unmuted. The volumes are around the 15 mark, which is perfect for the average person. Now, if they're a really loud person like me, you might want to turn them down a little bit. If they're really quiet like my wife Chica, you might want to crank them up a little bit. But this is what's after you put your headphones on, have them talking to the microphone and do a simple little test like tell me your name, say something like that. The rest of the settings on this mixer should not be touched at all. The only exception to that rule would be the 910 channel. You might be thinking, what does that mean? If you look on here, there's a little number that says 910. Think of the 910 as the microphone for the computer on the left. So if you were going to do a Zoom, or you had someone calling into your show on a Zoom, or you wanted to play a YouTube video into your podcast, you unmute 910 and you turn up the volume, and then they would be able to hear that voice from the Zoom caller or the YouTube video or whatever music you had playing on the computer on the left. I hope this helps, and that'll be good now for the mixer. Okay, so now that we're logged into the computer and we've opened up XSplit Broadcaster, what you might find is that someone who was in the studio before you might have their show's content still on the screen. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with PowerPoint. If you ever used PowerPoint before, that's going to be a great lesson for you as to how to set this up properly. Now you can see I'm on a camera view right now. There's some scrolling text at the bottom, and there's a show title. Now, think of this slide as your first slide of your PowerPoint presentation. So you see where my mouse is, there is a black border over here, a black border over here, and that is literally what is being shown to the listener or the viewer of your Facebook Live or your YouTube video or whatever you choose to broadcast. I can control where these camera views sit. I can grab them and move them around like I'm doing here. I can also reach down here in the corner. You see where my mouse just turned in that little thing, and I can resize it to any size that I want. That's why I say if you're familiar with PowerPoint, you'll understand that I can move things around and set up my slide whatever way I want to. Let's just say whoever was on the show before you, there are logos here, like this particular logo right here, right? If you don't want that anything on the screen, all you do is click on it. It'll get highlighted down here in the bottom, and you just go down here and you click remove, boop, and it's gone, just like that. Now, we're typically going to have camera views on our slide so that we can set them up, and we're going to resize it to whatever size is sufficient for setting up that show, right? But then there's also going to be text boxes on here. Now, if you see text, so we have Alex Angel, it's a show that that's on before my show. I go into the box. You notice it'll highlight it as soon as I put my mouse over it, and then I right click, not left click, right click. And it will pop up a little box that will allow me to edit the text. So like, for example, I'm going to take out Alex Angel, and I'm going to put Rob and Dale show. And then to save that change, all I have to do is click away, right? And then there it is, it's saved. Now you say, well, what if I don't want white? What if I want my text to scroll? I want a different font, no problem. Same thing, right click. And I can go down here, and you see right underneath where I added the text, I can go down here and I can change the color of the font. I can make it whatever color I want, right? Make it like this little turquoise color. If I want to add an outline to it, I can do that as well. And if I want it to scroll, I go down here to the bottom and I can click the little scroll button, and now it will scroll that text. So why is that important? Just allows you customization. There's a lot of it too. You can change a lot about the font here if you wanted to. Colors, you can change a lot of things there as well. But again, entirely up to you how you want to do that. Again, if you just want to go back to the basics, just your color, click away, and your settings are saved. You said, well, what about the size of the font, Rob? I want it to be bigger or smaller. No problem. Same how I resized my camera view. I go over here and I grab the corner and I just drag that text. I can make it really tiny. I can make it really big. It's entirely up to you. Once you get it the size you want, get it where you want, then you just let go of your mouse and then you can drag it around and put it wherever you want as well. And you see a little pink line keep showing up. That pink line just tells me it's centered, okay? Making sense so far, guys? Okay. Now notice that we have some scrolling text down here. You may or may not want that, right? So what do? I right click on it. I can now adjust what it says. Let me go ahead and do that now. So I'm just going to say SPECIL guest. Oops, I don't know how to type all of a sudden because I'm being recorded. That's why. Special guest Trevor, right? And I don't want blue. You know, I want white, or I want gray, and I certainly don't want it to scroll. Okay, so there we go. Now I click away. Settings are saved, right? So then, if I want to resize it, no problem. Grab the corner. I can make it as big or as small as I want, and then move it and place it wherever I need. Any questions so far? Pretty simple. Okay, I know you're watching a video thinking, I can't ask you a question, but that's okay. Pretend like you did, and I'll pretend to answer it. Okay, now, that's setting up one particular slide. Now, you notice I not only have one, I also have scene 2, I have scene 3, and then I have scene 4, and it looks like scene 3 over here is completely blank, and scene 2 looks like it has an issue. Now, look at this. Special guest Mark Salas and Jose, and it's cut off. That's because the person, whoever put that text in there, did not resize that properly. So what do? I grab the corner, I resize it properly, and then I can put it wherever I want. Okay, quick and easy fix. Now, once in a while when you get here, there may be other items on the screen that you want to remove, like say this logo, right? Very simple fix. Click on it. It'll be highlighted in the bottom down here, and you just click on remove. Well, let's just say, what if you wanted to add something to your screen? Maybe you wanted to add your logo. No problem. Follow my mouse, come all the way down here to the bottom where it says add source. I hit add source. I can add a text box if I wanted to add additional text. I could add a web page if I wanted to add web page. or I could add media files, which are typically photos and things like that. So let's just say I wanted to add this logo right back on there again. So I just simply hit that logo. It brings that image on here. It'll typically putting it in its default size. So how do we do it? We grab the corner. We can make it as big or as small as we want. Hey, maybe we wanted to put the logo on the wall behind us so it looks like it's on the wall. No problem. We can do that. We just got to resize it to the right size. You can email yourself. My wife just asked, how do you download that logo to the computer? You can email it to yourself, access your email, download it to the computer, and it'll store in the download file, and it's easy to access. So then this is a way you can put your logo on the wall behind you on both sides if you wanted to, and then it will look like you have photos on the wall behind you, even though they're really not there, which is kind of cool, okay? So that's how you set up those slides. So now you notice this one has a dual camera setup. How do we do that, right? I'm going to show you how to build it from scratch. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to scene 3 where there's nothing there, okay? So we have a blank slide. I'm going to click add source. I'm going to choose devices. I'm going to choose devices and I'm going to choose video. And you notice I have 2 cameras to choose from. There's the first one. That's our guest camera. So I'm going to put it over here in the corner. Again, I can resize this as big or as small as I want. I'm going to click add source again. I'm going to go to devices. I'm going to click video and I'm going to choose the other camera. Boom, and there it is. And I can set that camera view anywhere I want. I can have them opposing one another. I can have them side by side. It does not matter. Again, your slide, you control it however you want. Most people do it this way, but again, that's entirely up to you. It doesn't matter. Now I need to add a text box. No problem. We go down to add source, choose text, and now I have a big text box. And it says, okay, I'm just going to say, here is my show. And then I simply click away if I'm okay with that font and that text color. Okay, so I click away and, I hit click OK. And then I have this big old monster box, right? So what do? I grab the corner, drag it out, make it skinny, and then I can put it wherever I want. Okay, questions so far? Pretty simple stuff? Pretty simple stuff, okay? Again, if I wanted to add an additional text box, no problem. Add another text box. If I wanted to add a screen capture, I can do that too. If I wanted to add a web page, I can do that too. So if you wanted to, let's say your guest had their website and you wanted to be able to show your listener their website, you could literally add their web page. Let's just say I'm gonna add a web page, okay? I'm gonna type in google.com. I'm business partners with those guys. Not really. Okay, so now here's my web page, right? Again, I can grab it, I can resize it, I can make it as big as I want, and then I can literally navigate that website while I'm doing my show, and they can see it. Well, I forgot how to type. Porsche Taycan. Let's look at a Taycan. And we go to images, and we're talking about a car, right? That's a new $250,000 electric car by Porsche. Now they owe me advertising. Anyway, so short answer is this is how I can easily add a website and walk a listener through it while I'm doing my show. Meanwhile, on Facebook Live, no problem. Now, if I don't want this there anymore, what do? Remove, and it's gone, okay? So that is a short version of how you set up your XSplit broadcaster. If you have any detailed questions, make sure you call Rob at 214-929-9173. The Spreaker Studio and how to set up your podcast so you can go out and create yourself an amazing show. So I'm using some software that I'm not that familiar with, but I wanted to give you a little insight into what you really need to do. So once you get your Spreaker account set up, by the way, if you look in the upper left-hand corner up here, you can see that I set up myself a broadcaster account, which is approximately about 20 bucks a month, but it's literally gives you so much bandwidth to, one, produce yourself an exciting and amazing show, but also gives you enough bandwidth that if you wanted to, you could create multiple shows under the same account, which is kind of cool, right? So anyway, there's really only 2 buttons you're going to be touching while you produce your podcast. That is number 1 would be down here. This is the microphone mute and unmute button, right? So this little button down here will allow me to basically turn on the microphones and turn them off. And the whole idea behind this is while the music is playing, while a commercial is playing, you don't want people to be talking and being heard in the background because that would make your show seem unprofessional and produced by amateurs, which we certainly are not looking to do, right? So ideally, that would be turned on mute when we're first starting our podcast. And then at some point, we're going to play music as well. So like, for example, the initial way we start our show is we're going to hit this little button up here that says we're going to start our show. Now you'll notice a screen pops up and it asks me, do I want to do a live show or do I want to do offline? Now, it depends on what you're doing. So if you click away from that, like if I was going to be doing a live show, well, let me just go ahead and do it. I hit start, I hit live, and then it's going to ask me to enter a title and a description. And after I've done both of those things, I would just go down here and click on go live, and it would start broadcasting, streaming, and recording immediately, all right? Which is awesome, okay? And once you get used to this software, you'll be streaming almost everything live, I can assure you that, okay? But for when you're first getting started, you might want to take the more safer route and just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to hit start, and I'm going to record offline. Now, offline will start recording immediately as well, but it's not broadcasting to anyone, okay? Very important that you understand that. So anyway, most people are going to start their shows by hitting start, live, and then filling out their show title, a description, and then hit go live, and it'll start streaming immediately. Now, as soon as you choose your recording type, whether it be live or offline, doesn't matter to me. What will happen next is the software will start recording immediately, which is important to note, okay? So as soon as I hit live, either on a live show or I hit live on an offline, or I start recording on an offline, immediately the first thing I want to do is make sure, one, my microphones are muted initially, okay? I want to make sure they're muted so that if there was some back talk or someone talking in the background, that did not get recorded, okay? And as soon as I hit go, it's going to start recording immediately. You'll see a little countdown right up in this area. And by that time you hit start, offline or live, you hit your start to recording, you want to immediately jump right into your music. So I would go start, go, and then boom, play my song. Now once I'm ready to start recording, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to come back down here. I'm going to unmute my microphone. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to manually fade my volume out, and I'm just going to begin my podcast by simply just talking. Now, once I get involved in some good dialogue with my guests, I will go down there and kill the music, and then I will immediately adjust my volume back up. And the reason why I want to put the volume back up is when I'm getting ready to go to commercial or I'm getting ready to take a break or whatever the case may be, then I'm going to have my music ready to go. So like, for example, hey, you're listening to Bulletproof Mindset. My name is Rob Griffin. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. And then I hit boom, and I play my song. I mute my microphone. And then, obviously I let the music play. Normally, I'm stopping it now because we're recording a video, okay? And then when I'm ready to come back live, I would let my guests know, hey guys, we're getting ready to come back live. I come back down here. I turn my microphones back on so they can now hear me again. And then I manually would fade that volume out again and start talking right around here, right around the 30 volume mark. I would start talking to my guests again, but I wouldn't stop there. I would keep fading it down probably till about the 10 mark. And that's where you can kind of hear it in the background, but not really. And then I would slowly come down here and just kill the music, right? Once I kill the music, I'm back involved with dialogue with my guests and until the next break or until the show is over. That's really as simple as it gets. You're doing two simple tasks. You're going to be turning your microphones on and off, adjusting your volume up and down. So I thank you guys for your time and your attention, and I hope this video gives you a little bit of insight on how to properly create and produce your podcast / video / Facebook Live. But here's one thing I'm going to tell you, man. If you do this and you do it right, you're going to see exponential growth in your audience, in your traditional business, and all those things you want your podcast to grow. It will really help you in the big, big way. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, as always, contact me at 214-929-9173. If you want to follow my show, check me out at robandaleshow.com. You can like and follow that show on Instagram. Sorry, not Instagram. You like and find that show on Spreaker.com, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify. And my other awesome project called drinkingfordummies.com. That's drinking, the number 4, dummies.com. And check us out there as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you found this video valuable, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. Hope to talk to you soon. Take care and God bless. And that's it. Now, if you wanted to add in some of the other cooler features of the Spreaker app, you have the ability over here to come over here and play sound effects, which are kind of nice. There's one for applause, a camera. Excuse me. If you notice, there's a little edit button over here. If I click on the edit button, I can actually adjust what type of sound effects I have. I can remove some of these. I can add some of my own. A really cool program. It allows you to go do everything you want to do to go produce yourself an awesome show, okay? And if you wanted to access your content, so let's just say I recorded something, a really cool shortcut rather, to get to your content. As you come down here, you click on Drafts and Uploads. Not right now. I'm not going to give you feedback right now. And then you click on Published Episodes right here. This will take you directly to your online Spreaker account, which will allow you to make changes, add comments, add photos, all those cool things you want to do to your show once you are done, right? So really, really, really cool tool to use. Make sure you are downloading the Spreaker app. Practice at home for a little while so that when you get to the studio, you'll be ready to record and produce yourself an amazing show. Okay, I hope this video helps. And we have one last subject and we'll be done. Talk to you soon.